My friend, prepare your heart because a bomb has just dropped in Philadelphia. The Eagles have just signed a player that nobody had put on their radar. A silent, strategic signing that could change the course of the defense in the coming weeks. The NFL hasn't even processed it yet. Insiders are scrambling for details. But here on the channel, you're always one step ahead. Because I got fresh, inside information about what's really happening behind the scenes. And before revealing who this piece is that just landed in the Philadelphia Eagles, and who has already caused the immediate release of another player, click like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell, because what I'm about to tell you is simply unbelievable. The Philadelphia Eagles started the day with a trade that immediately sparked the curiosity of all the fans. The team officially signed defensive end Titus Leo for training camp, while releasing cornerback Ambry Thomas to make room. At first glance, it might seem like a simple roster reshuffle, but upon closer inspection, it reveals a story of persistence, missed opportunities, surprising potential, and the Eagles' continuous search for solutions to movement on the defensive line. Titus Leo, now 26, has lived one of the most unpredictable journeys in the NFL since being drafted by the Indianapolis Colts in the 6th round of 2023. Coming from Wagner University, he entered the league as a prospect with raw potential, lots of energy, good explosiveness, but needing a lot of refinement. His hot contract was a standard 4-year, $4 million deal. However, his trajectory in the league has been anything but conventional. After being released following a preseason, he went from the Colts practice squad to the Patriots, then to the Titans, then to the Browns, and even spent 12 days on the Eagles practice squad last October before being released. And that's where the story begins again. Because although Leo's production has been limited, his flashes of talent have never gone unnoticed. In 2024, he played 4 games for New England and recorded 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss of yards, and 1 pass deflection. On paper, that may not impress, but coaches across the league have consistently highlighted his energy, his discipline in rotations, and his willingness to adapt to multiple defensive schemes. So why bring him back now? The answer is simple. The Philadelphia Eagles are looking for depth, and players who can contribute significantly in the short term. With a team entering a physically demanding phase, including a primetime matchup against the Detroit Lions, adding a hard-working defender like Leo gives the coaching staff more control over defensive rotations, especially after recent inconsistencies on defense. He may be joining the training camp, but that doesn't mean he'll be there for long. The Eagles have a history of promoting players like Leo at crucial moments, and his familiarity with the facilities gives him an early advantage. And this roster change, though subtle, is directly linked to the upcoming storyline, because Sunday's matchup may now have a completely different tone after an event in Detroit that no one anticipated. While the signing of Titus Leo generated some discreet curiosity, the following news caused a major impact in the NFC. As the Eagles prepare to face the Detroit Lions in a decisive Sunday night football matchup, information received from Detroit indicates that star Sam Laporta risks missing the game due to a back injury. For the Philadelphia Eagles, this is crucial and could change the course of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles enter Week 11 as 2.5-point favorites, according to FanDuel. But this number was calculated assuming that Philadelphia would need to keep up with one of the NFL's most explosive offenses. The Detroit Lions are coming off an explosive performance against Washington, with 546 yards gained and 44 points, showing why they remain one of the most powerful offensive teams in the league. Since head coach Dan Campbell took over the offense, replacing coordinator John Morton, the Lions have become even more dynamic, with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams transforming into unstoppable threats in the open field. On the other hand, Philadelphia is coming off a frustrating performance, only 294 total meters, and their worst mark of the season, 10 points against Green Bay. The offense seemed disjointed, the chemistry was poor, and fans spent a week wondering how the team would keep up with Detroit's firepower. But now, everything changes. Laporta, Detroit's most reliable receiver, Jared Goff's safe haven, and one of the NFL's most efficient tight ends, missed Wednesday and Thursday's practices due to an unexpected back problem. Although Friday's update will provide clearer information, experts believe he will miss his first game of the season, and that's very important. Laporta has accumulated 40 receptions for 489 meters this year, averaging 54.3 meters per game, and an incredible reception rate of 81.6%. For Detroit, losing him doesn't just mean losing a key player. It means losing the player around whom the entire passing game in close-range situations and in the red zone is based. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles' situation gets interesting. Without Laporta, the Detroit Lions' offense becomes more predictable, forcing Goff to rely heavily on outside receivers and limiting the Lions' ability to attack the middle of the field. Add to that the increased pressure on the opposing quarterback and the renewed flexibility with the signing of Titus Leo Leo earlier today, and suddenly, Week 11 looks much more balanced than it did 24 hours ago. But the most important story of all comes from within the Eagles' own defensive structure, because while Detroit may be losing one of its key weapons, Philadelphia is now considering a defensive change that could redefine its secondary for the rest of the year. As if the day hadn't already presented enough drama, the Philadelphia Eagles further fueled the discussion when defensive coordinator Vic Fangio openly admitted a possibility that many fans have been debating since the preseason, moving Cooper DeJean from the nickel cornerback position to the outside cornerback position. And the statements surrounding this idea make the moment even more intriguing. The Eagles' cornerback situation has been one of the most discussed of the entire 2025 season. On one hand, Quinyon Mitchell dispelled all doubts, proving that his excellent rookie year was no fluke. He is now widely considered one of the best young outside cornerbacks in the league, combining elite speed with expert instincts and advanced technique. On the other hand, however, things have been much more unstable. The signings of Michael Carter II and Jair Alexander mid-season were supposed to bring about change. Carter was expected to take over the slot receiver position, while Alexander played alongside Mitchell. But that plan crumbled when Alexander withdrew from the team to reflect on his future, a story that is still unfolding, with no definite return data. Suddenly, the question resurfaced: who will play on the sideline? Initially, the Eagles dismissed the idea of taking DeJean out of the slot cornerback position. After all, he quickly became one of the NFL's best nickel cornerbacks, physical, intelligent, and disruptive in short-range coverage. But with Carter now available to play as nickel and Alexander temporarily out, Fangio's public admission that moving DeJean to the sideline is possibly a possibility represents a major shift. DeJean is a unique athlete, strong enough to play inside coverage, but quick and agile enough to track receivers on the sideline. Many scouts believed he would eventually become a full-time outside cornerback in the NFL. And now, with the Eagles boasting a 7-2 record and looking to take advantage of playing at home, the coaching staff seems willing to explore that possibility. DeJean's move to wide receiver goes beyond simply filling a spot. It allows the Philadelphia Eagles to restructure their entire secondary. Mitchell takes over as primary wide receiver, DeJean as secondary wide receiver, and Carter solidifies the slot receiver position, creating a defensive trio with high-level tendencies, intelligence, and athleticism. And when you combine that with the increased depth on the defensive line and the potential absence of Sam Laporta against the Detroit Lions on Sunday, suddenly, the Eagles' defense looks capable of dictating the pace of Week 11 instead of just reacting to it. With Titus Leo returning to bolster the defensive rotation, the potential absence of Sam Laporta in Week 11, and the possibility of the Eagles shifting Cooper DeJean to outside cornerback, do you believe Philadelphia now has the perfect opportunity to dominate Detroit on Sunday? Or do you think these changes bring more pressure than advantage? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to update you with the latest Eagles news.